Thanks for being here. Like Jesse said, we're here to talk about the sexiest and most exciting topic in all of crypto, and that's taxes. It actually is. It's fun, and it's challenging. So by show of hands, who here has ever struggled to do crypto taxes? Yeah, it's confusing. But Julie, who is not new to the IRS, is sort of new to a new team at the IRS on crypto. So how's that going? You started about 6 months ago. What have you been up to?
A lot. We're a small team, and so good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here. And I have to do my little standard disclaimer. So the views I'm going to share with you this afternoon are my own and do not necessarily represent the agency. So with that, I was very pleased to be selected to lead the project office for digital assets. I have a small team. We're a total of 5 plus me, and most of them are in the front and second row and with me today. And so we've been up to a lot. The folks that work with me, I've been in this space for about 2 years, and the folks that are assisting in shaping I would say the future and the strategy and plan and approach for the IRS have been in this space a lot longer than I have been. And we're here to provide a consistent message and also to create a plan and a path forward for, I will say, the IRS, the enterprise, ensuring that we are looking at and engaging with you all in this room and a lot of others so that we get it right and that we build the path forward. We hear both internally and externally and build a plan, which we then will operationalize hopefully in the next 12-ish months.
So what does that plan entail? Can you give us a taste of what might be coming in the next 12 months?
Ooh. Well, yeah, so I would say that across the organization, there's, as many of you may know, may not know, there's a wide breadth of employees that work in the IRS. Everybody within the IRS, we feel, and I would think you would all agree, need to know something about crypto, virtual currency, or digital assets. So what we're trying to do is ensure that we understand each of their roles and that we are developing a plan or a path role specific. So I grew up in the organization and I was an auditor. So folks that audit need maybe something different than folks that answer the phone. So that's what we're doing is how do we do that? How do we maneuver through? And how do we build that? And how we do that is with our expertise and experience. We have a lot of years in the team, and we're out and about to try to shape and ensure that we're creating what I will say the right path forward for the industry, ensuring that taxpayers understand the requirements to file a tax return, and that we are building what we need internally as well.
Cool. So, something we've talked about, right, in preparation for this, and part of a consistent message is consistent guidance, and that's been something that, I think a lot of people would probably feel like there's some to be desired. And so when I first reached out to you, I was like, okay, I thought that there was only 2014 guidance and 2019 guidance, and you set me straight. There's actually much more than that. But, why do you think guidance has been hard and slow and kind of piecemeal? What's the challenge of putting out crypto tax guidance?
Well, I'll say that, and I use the term, it takes a village, right? And there's, I don't control the official guidance or the formal guidance, but we certainly have a role to play. So there's a lot in this industry, I will say, right? It's ever evolving, ever changing. So that's been a challenge for us at the IRS. We're used to, we have the code, right? And we have regulations, and I know you're probably all wondering, is she gonna say something about regulations? So, in this space, because it's so ever evolving, ever changing, and it looks this way this second, and 2 seconds from now, it looks something different. So that's really been a challenge. If we want to get it right, and we want to issue that guidance that's going to be helpful and supportive of our mission at the agency, it's going to take us time in order to do that. So what we have done, yes, we're waiting for the regulations, and I do not have a date for you. I am very sorry for that. But we are working very, very hard to get it right and get information in the hands of you all. So without the regulations, we do have guidance, and it is guidance. As you mentioned, there were 2, but we've had 7 chief counsel advices in the last 2 or 3 years. 3 came out this filing season. We have a notice that came out in March, late March, around NFTs. And that notice provides an opportunity for comment. So we've issued what we think or what we might think. And what we want to hear from you is please take advantage of the comment period. We welcome all of it so that we can then assess, digest, and then determine what is the appropriate response as we're dealing then with the future. So we have chief counsel advices, we have a notice. You mentioned the notice 2014-21. We just recently, I think last week, issued a notice that put a little clarity around legal tender to that 2014 notice. And so my team and I would say the entire IRS, working with Treasury, is trying to get guidance out that is helpful while we dissect, get it right, and issue the regulation.
Yeah, so speaking of the NFT notice, the open comment period has already begun. What's been the feedback so far?
We've had a lot of positive feedback from you all and others that thank you for opening up the comment period. Thank you for asking for feedback from us. Very, very positive. Although we have done that in the past, I would say in this space and the ecosystem, it's critically important that we do that. So the feedback has been incredibly positive. I can't tell you what we've received thus far, but it's been a lot. The comment period ends on June 19th. So please, please, please help us, help you by providing those comments.
Yeah, so in addition to, putting out notices and opening up, your email basically for comment, how else are you engaging with the crypto community? And you're also here, and that's, thank you for being here. But something, in 2020, not 2021. In 2020, you guys had kind of a summit where you took comment from the industry. Are there any plans for anything like that in the future?
There are no official plans, but certainly something we will entertain. I will say that at that time, there was a plan for subsequent summits, but as you all know, COVID made that, on hold, pause that. So I would say for sure, we would love to do that. What we're doing, I have my entire team here with me this week, at this event, so that we can engage with you all. And we're doing a lot of that. We're also been talking to academia and trying to get a sense of what are you seeing, what are you teaching, what degree programs do you all have? Because as you all know, this industry is so complicated, right? And so technological that we in the IRS need to look at the skill sets of the folks that we have today and those that we want to bring on in the future. So if we're going to continue to be engaged in this space, which I will say we're going to, then we need to have the right people and the right tools. So in order to do that, I would suggest that it takes all of us. So a summit or some kind of venue to do that, I think that's what we're going to need to do. I just don't have any specific timing yet.
Well, when you plan it, I want to come.
All right,
I'm looking forward to an interview.
Okay.
So I want to zoom out a little bit. Obviously, the IRS is an American institution, but crypto's taxed pretty much everywhere. Are you paying attention to anything that's happening outside the US? Is there anybody that you think is doing a good job taxing crypto?
I would say yes, we are definitely paying attention. Obviously, it's everywhere, right, in the world. For those of you that attended some of the earlier sessions, we're paying attention to the countries. I can't really speak to who I think is maybe doing a better job or not. But I will say that we have had countries come in and want to talk to us, and in our Large Business and International Division, we do have competent authority with our staff, and so we do engage in a lot of the international components, and we do have a few folks that sit at table to try to shape that. So yeah, we're very much plugged in. I think events like this and other events that we've attended also is providing us an insight and a perspective internationally.
Awesome. Something else that we talked about a little bit and that I want to talk about today, we're running out of time, but how has compliance changed? What's the goal? I mean, obviously it's voluntary compliance, but how has that changed since you took over this team?
Well, I would say compliance and what our folks across the IRS and the enterprise do hasn't really changed from before the office stood up to us today. Does it need to change in this space? Perhaps, but it's how does it need to change and what do we need to do in order to promote voluntary compliance in maybe a different fashion than we normally think, right? We have a digital assets, crypto, virtual currency website or webpage out on irs.gov. We have frequently asked questions, and those have evolved over the years. I think there's 46 or 48 of them at the current moment. There's plans to maybe add more, but is that the right place for you all to go to gather the information you might need or you do need to voluntarily comply? So my team is looking at are there other opportunities? Are there vignettes, or are there different ways we can get our message across so that we can assist in the voluntary compliance? What is it that you need to know depending on what you're engaged in and what then consequently would be your tax return? And so that's what we're building. And from there, as we do have tools, right? We are always looking at research and developing, and we can't audit every return that's filed, nor do you all probably want us to audit every return, but we have ways that we can get out and provide that intel for y'all to do what you need to do.
Is that a polite way of telling people that you can't just say that you didn't make any money on crypto?
That's correct. It is what it is, and you may have a final requirement depending on.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. Yeah.
You're very
really
welcome.
good.
It was great to be with you all, so thank you very much.
Cool. All right.